Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday to you.
Commissioners, we've got a pretty clean and crisp agenda ahead of us this morning, and then we got a pretty robust and busy day with some other business, county business to take care of. So we're going to move as swiftly as possible, dotting our I's and crossing our T's this morning, Director Rutledge. This morning I'm calling this meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, May the 11th, 2021, and we're here at 903 Main Street in the Rockdale County Auditorium in the heart of Old Town Conyers. We're calling this meeting to order. It's shortly after the 10 o'clock hour, and we will start with invocation and Pledge of Allegiance by one of our very good friends and supporters, Pastor Michael Patterson from the Faith Tabernacle Church. Good morning, Pastor.
Good morning, and thank you for this opportunity, and we'll enter into our time of prayer. We'll bow our heads together. Mighty God, we love you and we praise your name. Thank you for all that you've done and all that you're continuing to do. Thank you for this opportunity to serve the great citizens of Rockdale County. And Lord, I pray your blessings upon our time together. And Lord, we thank you so much for life itself and for the measure of health that we have to fulfill our callings, and for all of your provisions and for all of the friendships that we have and relationships that you've granted us with. And we thank you so much for the opportunity to be involved in the work and for the honor of sharing in responsibilities of our community. And Lord, today I pray for our commissioners and for the various levels of county officials, and in particular for this entire assembly today. I pray over the agenda that is set before them. Lord, I am asking that you would graciously grant them wisdom, that they may govern well, grant them a sense of welfare and a true need of our community. Grant them a sincere desire for justice and what is right. And I also pray for confidence as they seek to do what is good and proper, and the ability to work together in harmony. Grant them all personal peace in their lives and fulfillment in their task. And Lord, today I pray for all of our servicemen and women in every field of labor, and we ask for your blessings of protection to be upon them as they serve our nation, our state, and our communities to provide a freedom that we all love, honor, and respect. And Lord, I continue to pray for health and healing and for a successful recovery for those who have been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Lord, I pray blessings upon them and help and strength for their families and for them themselves. And Lord, I pray that you would give us all an assurance that what is proposed here today in this agenda and in the days and weeks and years that lie ahead, that it would all be for your glory and for the benefit of those who live and work in our beloved county. We pray all of this in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you again, Pastor Patterson, and certainly do appreciate you and your congregation over at Faith Tabernacle and all of the things you all do behind the scenes in our community to serve the residents of both Rockdale and Newton counties. Thank you so much. This morning, Commissioners, we're moving right on to a special recognition and presentation hosted by our Public Relations Department. And I see our manager there, Ms. Owens. Good morning, Ms. Owens.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. So we are continuing on with our Black History in Rockdale series. We are on episode 7, Black Property Owners. So we'll learn about Black property owners in Rockdale County.
Very good, thank you.
Grover Cleveland Simmons, who is my husband's father, and his son-in-law, Lester Gilstrap, in 1946, March of 1946, they purchased 12 and a half acres of land that starts on north of Rockbridge Road on Main Street and goes down Rockbridge Road to a property that was owned by somebody named Whit Wilson. After that time, after they bought the property, they sold lots to several families. Some of them are still in the area. The first lot was sold to Mitchell family. That's the first lot on Rockbridge after the vacant space there. Then that house that sort of burned a couple years ago, that was the Map House. Then there's the Ship House, Norman Ethelene, I think Norma lives there now. And then the Cleveland Stroud, who's the county commissioner, he lives in one of the properties. So, in other words, my husband's father had 1, 2, 3, 4. He sold 6 pieces of property off of that 12 acres. The property was a little over 12 acres, and they paid $4,000 for it, which in today's market would be about $57,000.
My great-great-grandfather and my great-great-grandmother, they purchased land over on Rockdale Road, which was 300 acres, where they moved here in 1886, and they purchased the land, it said, in 1890. My grandfather and his siblings also lived over on Rockbridge Road and then Lake Rockaway. And then there's the church over there called Crawfordville Baptist Church. My grandfather and his brother were the ones who gave the land for the church. The family church is still there, and a lot of nurses came out of that church. And so, because my uncle, Uriel Lester, was the pastor there for years, and my grandfather was the deacon, my grandmother was the mother. So we go to church over there. They farmed the land. The kids on my uncle's side built all their homes over there. And I have a brother and a sister who have their homes off of, one is on Lake Rockaway and one is on Rockbridge. For some reason, and I don't know why, my grandfather and my grandmother purchased land over on Lester Road. But at that time, it wasn't called Lester Road, it was Route 2. My grandmother was a domestic worker. She purchased the land for $10 an acre. And she ended up getting 40 acres of land for $400. And so that's why we have the land on Lester Road. And that is why, after all these years, we got the nickname Lesterville. We had a celebration in October of 2016. We called it Lester Road Day. And Commissioner Oz came over and was a part of that celebration. And so we try to keep the heritage going so that all the children and grandchildren know why we have Lesterville.
That was very important that we could buy the property and own it. We can use it to be a collateral for other properties. And that's the strong point of at least blacks owning land. Because without the land as the background of what they own, they probably couldn't borrow anything.
If you have property, you have some leverage. You're able to, if you own something, can't nobody take it away from you. You pay your taxes, it's yours. You purchase it, and then you can pass it on. It made me feel like that I'm worthy. I'm worthy because my family, those are before me, thought enough of me because they wanted us to have something. They wanted us to work for it and earn it, and it's ours, and no one take it away from us. So that's why when they started building up around Lester Road, we said we're not selling. Because it's about the love, that the heritage that we have there. Money can't put a price on what my parents and my grandparents went through.
It to me is very strong feeling that we were able to buy land and live on it and keep it, because very few blacks could do that. And we just was lucky, I think, that we did that. And we held on to the land and kept it, and we still now own most of it. And we love that we own it, and we're glad. We encourage other blacks in that neighborhood to, if they have the means to buy land, to go ahead and do it. We felt that land was a valuable item to own.
So we want to thank the Public Relations Department for continuing with the series on Black history here in Rockdale County. That was a pretty interesting piece there, talking about African Americans here in the history and the heritage of Rockdale who are property owners, landowners. We're most familiar with the Lester family. Most of us who've been around for a while, they play a very significant role in a lot of what has happened and continue to happen here in Rockdale County. In fact, I know that young Miss Leslie Lester is part of the Rockdale Community Ambassadors Program, so they are very well known throughout the community and have been for a number of years doing very good things. But it's so interesting to hear this history about the county, particularly from the African American perspective, and this particular series as it relates to property and landowners. So thank you again for public relations for continuing to keep this history in front of our face as we continue to move Commissioner Washington towards June 10th. They are doing a fantastic job focusing on the history and the heritage of Rockdale County. Moving right along, we're moving now to the approval of the agenda. Commissioners, what is your pleasure?
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
I second that motion.
It has been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or concerns? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Approval of the minutes, please, from April 27th and May 4th of 2021.
I move to approve the minutes as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions, concerns? All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Unfinished business, item number 6. Director Rutledge.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 2021-214 is an ordinance amending Article 4, Chapter 2, Part 2 of the Code of Rockdale County, Georgia, by providing for the abolishing of certain departments, for the creation of certain departments, for the consolidation of certain departments, amending certain sections of Chapter 70, Part 2 of the Code of Rockdale County, Georgia, and for other purposes. This is submitted this morning for a second reading.
I move to approve the second reading and adopt the ordinance as presented.
I second that
It's
motion.
been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Consent agenda, item number 7. Commissioners?
I move to approve the items on the consent agenda as listed below.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. Wow.
I know.
So we're down to the regular agenda, and actually there is no items to take up. Commissioners, we're moving at the speed of light this morning. That brings us to public comment. I won't delay it. I know that Commissioner Williams has some personal business to address, and she's going to be excused at this moment to handle that, and we'll see her in a few hours during our CIP process. Thank you, Commissioner. Public comment.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have not received any red cards this morning. Okay, there's somebody out here. I'll begin to read while we're waiting, if that's all right.
Okay.
As a reminder, public comment is limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Comments relative to any issues that are currently going through the public hearing process Matters that are in active litigation, political campaigning, or partisan politics will not be heard in this meeting. Speakers are to address the chairman, not each other or the audience, and are expected to conduct themselves in an appropriate manner. The use of abusive or profane language shall not be allowed. No debate or argument between speakers and/or members of the audience shall be permitted.
Thank you so much, Director Rutledge. Just before I call up Ms. Barnes this morning, I'm going to take the privilege to call up Director Barkley. And Director Barkley is going to give us just a brief synopsis about the three entities here in Rockdale County: Rockdale County government, the City of Conyers, as well as the Rockdale County Public School System. And after which he does this brief little miniature educational piece, then I'll call up our speaker. Director Barkley, good morning.
Good morning, Chairman. Good morning, Madam Commissioners. I'm Will Barkley. I'm the Director of the Board of Assessors. My primary responsibility is to value all the property in Rockdale County at its fair market value. So that's a task that my team and I have before us. Part of this process include the valuation of property is actually for the City of Conyers, it's for the school board, and it also for Rockdale County government. Before they establish their budgets, the primary role of this valuation that we do is so that they know what millage rate to set in order to be able to fund their budget. So all of these different entities play a major role as far as in how the taxes are calculated. However, the very first portion of that starts with my team. And our responsibility is primarily just to establish what is the fair market value of that. And when we are establishing that value, we're governed by the State of Georgia Department of Revenue to ensure that we are valuing everything at its fair market value. So if we are not valuing it at its fair market value, the county is actually cited based on the fact that we're not valuing it at the current market value. So that's our task. So that is just the first portion of that. So the second portion involves them establishing their budget. And once they establish their budget, they have to determine what millage rate would generate the amount of tax dollars in order to support that budget. So all of us play a key role as far as in the development of that. So I hope that answers your question, Chairman.
It does, Director Barkley, and I certainly do appreciate what you've done with our Public Relations Department to develop a program to continue to educate and inform our citizenry how it works here in Rockdale County. And one of the reasons I called up Director Barkley this morning, Commissioner Washington, is because oftentimes, number one, because we have a public platform with a television camera and a microphone, folks come to the Board of Commissioners because they think that we're actually in charge of every single item that moves in our community. Where there is the City of Conyers, there's a mayor and a city council. And then there's the Rockdale County Public School System that has a chairman of the Rockdale County Public School Board as well as a superintendent of schools. The Board of Commissioners have nothing to do with the schools, the ball fields, the school buses, the lunchroom menu, the classrooms. That is not our jurisdiction. Everything that's moving and operating within the city limits of the City of Conyers is governed by the mayor and the city manager, along with the city council members that serve the City of Conyers. But because there is no television for the school board, there is no platform or television for the City of Conyers, most people come to the Board of Commissioners. Most recently, I've received a number of email inquiries, phone calls, text messages from citizens concerning their taxes. And this is typical about this time of year, usually when the statement is released from the tax assessor's office. Oftentimes, people don't slow down enough to really read it and see where the largest amount of the increase is coming from. I have to be very clear and frank this morning and tell them to take a look at the statement, and you will see which of those has the highest contribution toward taxes in this community. Director Barkley and his team does a fine job. It's important that people understand the essence behind a property value being increased in terms of where we're trying to take the tax digest in our community in a very positive way. We realize that there are a number of seniors. I want to make sure you hear me clearly. We have a number of seniors in our community, and most of those seniors, they don't have school-age kids. They don't have children participating in the local school system. Well, the school system also relies on the tax dollars of all of the residents in the county. We, the Board of Commissioners, don't control what age group, what age limit, or drop off in terms of those people who pay those school taxes. Director Barkley, if you would, how should a senior, 65 and older, who is concerned about the fact that they don't have a school-age child, what is the process, or who is the best entity to speak to regarding that? Because we do know in some counties that's not the case. Can you speak to that, please?
Yes, there's actually, that would be legislation that would actually establish something locally here to exempt all of the seniors as far as from taxes if they chose to do that from a school portion of that. However, currently, the regular exemption exempts like $15,000 off of the assessed value for just a regular exemption. However, if you choose to, or if you qualify at least for the senior exemption, you're exempt an additional $20,000, which equates to about $35,000 off your assessed value. So you get a bigger discount for being a senior. You do still have to pay school taxes if the value of your property is over a certain amount. So if you wanted to, if the community wanted to decide that this is something that we wanted to pursue, there would have to be legislation or local legislation that would exempt seniors from the school taxes. And so it's not something that the actual county government can actually do. That will be something that would have to be orchestrated through the community.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate the information and the education this morning to bring clarity to this, because a lot of times folks think it rests solely on the Board of Commissioners. I'm hearing your response saying that it's a community, it has to be a community initiative to draft legislation. Should that be led by the entity where the concern is, or should that be led by a state representative and or state senators? How does that happen?
I would suggest that it led by a state representative, and okay, they can draw up something for that.
Thank you.
And furthermore, since we're here and we're discussing that, I also wanted to point out, a lot of times we hear that my office is actually operating based upon the Board of Commissioners. We're trying to raise taxes because you guys need more tax dollars, and that's the farthest thing from the truth. We're regulated, as I stated earlier, by the Department of Revenue. We're totally separate from the Board of Commissioners. However, you guys do fund our budget, but we operate based on the standards that the Department of Revenue set, and we have to meet those particular standards, and those are our guidelines. The Board of Commissioners are not generating tax dollars through the assessor's office. Our sole purpose is to value property at its current fair market value. And if we don't meet that mark, then we're cited.
You know, that was a very valid point and key point, you adding that, because I think because we are conveniently located and we do provide housing and structure for your office, oftentimes people skip the piece about the Department of Revenue. They also are not aware that they really should be talking with the state representative and or their state senators to change the legislation. However, I did hear what you said earlier about a community initiative happening on the local level, but it starts with a communication piece to those state representatives in conjunction with the Department of Revenue at the same time. So that brings the point of clarity. You know, it's something that I know, Commissioner Washington, that we will have to reiterate over and over again, because everyone is not watching this broadcast, and oftentimes people are not aware of this. And then sometimes folks are looking for someone to kind of point the blame to in terms of what's happening. Commissioner Washington.
Well, I'd like to thank Mr. Barkley for giving us that, because I too have received my fair share of phone calls, text, Facebook messengers, Instagram messengers. I don't think anybody got me on Twitter, but everything else regarding their taxes, tax values, and I have been saying just about the same things over and over again. The other thing that I would like to, while we're addressing the tax assessments, is go over the stormwater fee that is on the on this tax bill. There is an entire thread on Facebook that I don't know if they tagged you, but they definitely tagged me regarding the stormwater fees. And I know that's not you, Director, but the fact that the stormwater fees are now on the tax bills, and people upset because it's not a tax, and then the stormwater fees have increased. So can we, since we do have a minute and we've finished in record time, can we have a second to go over, you know, the need for the stormwater fees? And I know we've done this before, but I don't think that people understood until they saw it. And the need for the increase in stormwater fees, which is an absolute need right now. It's not a want, it's not a desire, it's not a we should do this and it might be good. This is us increasing the stormwater fees is an absolute dire need so that this community can address all of the infrastructure improvements that this community needs. Just the fact that we have infrastructure that we're still dealing with corrugated pipes and things of that nature, and we're every time it rains, we're praying that we're not going underwater because of the lack of money and time and attention that this community has placed on the infrastructure. And I know it's hard because we don't see stormwater. That's not anything that you think about every day until you driving through a puddle of water, praying that you don't hydroplane and hit a tree because our stormwater system is not adequate. So I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but because I don't believe that a lot of people realize that we do have an antiquated infrastructure that is that we haven't put any real attention into this infrastructure in over 30 years, and it's time, and we have to have the money in order to fix it. I tried to find, I don't know, when we were first talking about the infrastructure improvements, Director Cosby gave us this picture of this this viaduct. Spending a lot of time in Savannah, they say viaduct for everything. But it was one of the viaducts, and the way they fixed the viaduct was they put a stick in it. Do you remember that image?
I do remember. Yeah.
Culvert. Thank you. It was a culvert. So they put a stick in the culvert to open it up, and that was the solution to the problem because there wasn't enough money to reinforce and fix this culvert. Putting a stick in a culvert does not fix the problem of a culvert. You need money to reinforce, to change it out, and to address the problem so that we can have a good infrastructure. We have to have it. So anyway, I've gone on a tangent because I don't think people realize how important stormwater is until, like I said, you're traveling through water or your street is full of water and you're trying you're trying to get home or you're trying to get to the grocery store or whatever, and you have standing water there. So anyway.
Commissioner Washington, all of your points are very valid and clear. You're absolutely correct that we've had a neglected stormwater system for well over 40 years here in the county. It's almost like a game of tag. So we've been tagged, and this administration is doing what it needs to do to address the issues concerning our infrastructure. As you know, the federal government has also placed strong emphasis on infrastructure all across the county, all across the country. We're not waiting in Rockdale County. We've not been waiting. We now have a brand new stormwater director. Our new public relations director will be starting very soon. They have already started the pre-planning process to launch a very aggressive campaign to, number one, to educate our public, to inform the public as to why we have placed the stormwater fee on the tax roll. In fact, this is nothing unusual. This is happening in several other counties. It's a convenience fee so that we can collect these monies, address these concerns. Because here's what's happening, and I think the commissioner put it very, very clearly. We receive calls about standing water in someone's front yard, backyard, or they can't get out of the driveway. Okay, we're right now, we're in the dog days of summer where we're getting a lot of storms. So our stormwater division will be receiving a ton of calls to help mitigate some of these problems. So we're getting the concern about standing water or flood zones throughout the county. And on the other hand, we're getting all these other concerns about paying the stormwater fee. Well, you can't address one without the other. We have to have the funds to be able to do it. Keep in mind, back in 2016 and beyond, the stormwater department was actually a stormwater division tucked underneath the planning and development department. We now have a standalone department with a certified engineer as the director of that department. I want to ask Director Simpkins if he would come. Thank you so much, Director Barkley. We appreciate you being ready. And I'll ask Director Simpkins to come up. You want to add something there?
I want to clarify one last thing. I'm
Yes.
glad that Commissioner Washington actually brought up the point about the stormwater fee. This is actually the first year that we've put the stormwater fee on the actual assessment notice, which is not the tax bill. We have a statutory requirement in order to place these things on the notice of assessment when those things are going to appear on a tax bill. We've actually gotten a lot of calls about the stormwater fee being on the assessment notice and wanting to appeal the actual notice of assessment because the stormwater fee is on there. Legally, they cannot file an appeal based on a stormwater fee being on the notice of assessment. So a lot of those calls are related to that, and there are no grounds to file an appeal for those matters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director Barkley. Appreciate it. Director Simpkins. Director Simpkins is our Director of Stormwater. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How you doing? I would just say, unfortunately, in a lot of communities, the traveling public don't really think about stormwater until we have deluges of rain and roads are washed out. I think it is in Rockdale County's best interest to take a proactive approach in regards to stormwater. We know that we have issues and we need to be proactive in addressing them rather than waiting on the deluges of rain and then the road is washed out. That proactive approach, I think, will be better for the citizens of Rockdale and all citizens traveling through the area.
Well, Director Simpkins, we certainly do appreciate you, and we appreciate the preliminary work that you've already started in terms of doing a more aggressive campaign to educate because a lot of it, Commissioner Washington, deals with education and information, people having knowledge and understanding why there's a stormwater fee and what it contributes. The last account that I received, there's over $200 million. She made reference to the fact that 40 years of neglect, so it's not hard to imagine that number. When you think about infrastructure and all of the piping and roadways throughout Rockdale County that has not been replaced or repaired or addressed in 4 decades, that's a lot of work. So when we see the amount of rain that we see, particularly during the dog days of summer and what they're continuing to project as we move forward into this inclement weather season, we're going to see an abundance of roads, some washed away. We had an incident right there in front of Rockdale County High School where there was a complete collapse of the roadway, a sinkhole. I mean, it was big enough to drop a car in the middle of that road. That was because no one had addressed the infrastructure underneath the road in over 4 decades, 40 years. So we're having to do that. It takes money to do it. You're driving on roads where the infrastructure underneath, you have no, as he made mention to, you have no idea of what we're really dealing with. That's why we have experts in engineering to make sure we stay on top of these things and address them. When the weather is shifting, as it constantly does, and we see these different conditions in the roadways and with our infrastructure, it causes us to move into a more reactive mode instead of being proactive, as the director is talking about, with planning and putting these things in place. It's better to have it and need it than to not have it and need it and be reactionary here throughout the county. So I want to say thank you to Director Simpkins as well as to Director Barkley. I do want to give an opportunity for Chief Cade to chime in because he led the effort working with Director Barkley and our tax commissioner in reference to this stormwater fee. We're going to move to Chief Cade, and then we'll wrap up with Commissioner Washington and move forward.
Thank you,
Chief.
Mr. Chairman. Pretty much everything has already been said. I would like to add, though, that yes, it is very important that these fees be applied to the, like you said, $200 million worth of projects that we have pending here in Rockdale. And I can tell you since January 1st, and also since Director Simpkins has started, we have been inundated with concerns and complaints from various citizens and also people who travel our roadways on a daily basis as it relates to stormwater concerns. And I'd also like to reiterate that best practices dictated from the state level the rate increase. It wasn't just an arbitrary number that was thrown out by county government, and the county government said, oh, all residents are going to be paid or are going to start paying $102 per property. That was actually best practice that was dictated through state entities that recommended a rate increase. And as I was told by the Stormwater Department, it was actually recommended that the rate be actually higher, but the Board of Commissioners last September chose the 102 rate. So as it applies to best practices, we also applied best practices as it relates to what other counties are doing to apply it to the tax bills that go out in September, which is consistent with what the majority of metro counties are doing here in the state of Georgia.
Thank you, Chief Commissioner.
I just wanted to say, in regards to Director Simpkins, we got the right one because he is so excited about stormwater. Anybody that will chase you down to talk about stormwater means that we have gotten the right director, because that is what he has done every time he sees me. So when you all see me dodging Director Simpkins,
Well,
I'm just
A good dodge, though.
No,
A good dodge.
he is very, very excited about the possibilities of Rockdale County and tackling the issues that are coming our way. And I think that his enthusiasm coupled with his education and experience is going to be excellent for Rockdale. So I just wanted to put that into perspective. I think we have a true asset.
Thank you so much, and I concur with you 100%. In fact, his phone has already been ringing off the hook, and he's already been out on the ground to lay eyes on several of the projects throughout the county. Let's move forward with our public comment. I'm calling up Dr. Judith E. Barnes. Dr. Barnes, come on up this morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, and all the commissioners and the general public. My reason for coming here, I think in the things that you have expressed before I even got up to come here, you addressed them through several other people. That being said, that's fine, but I took the day off to be here this morning because I was told this is the place to come after I filed an appeal. So I didn't just pop up here, and I wanted to be known that sometimes maybe we get incorrect information or insufficient information, and so that's why I'm here this morning. My concern is I'm 67 years old, and I am just got a refinance on my house to bring my mortgage payment down, and I get the tax information, and it says now, from what is stated there, my mortgage is gonna go up again. So it's a natural and healthy concern that I am talking about here. And while I understand all the explanations have been given by everyone, and now I know where to go and whom to speak to, that's fine. But I wanted to say it anyway, because I lived in Gwinnett County, and I have a sister who lives in Gwinnett County, and she does not pay school taxes, and she's 73 years old. So I want to know why. I'm also aware that a lot of things that the citizens of every city and state wants done is not done through the commissioners. I have a brother who's a commissioner, so I understand that. But as I said, I was told to show up for this meeting. I was given the time and the date and the address, so I showed up. I'm very diligent and very deliberate individual, so that being said, I will continue to pursue this because I know there are a lot of people in Rockdale County, my age group, who are having a difficult time paying their mortgage, and any kind of relief that is legal and acceptable, they should be able to get it. So that's why I mean, after you had everybody speak, I could have said, well, let me go home, but it's not that easy.
Dr. Barnes, I really appreciate you coming out, and I'm glad that you didn't just go home after the information. First of all, let me give due diligence to the fact that you are one of a few who have filled out the comment card correctly and completely. Yes. I read your card, and I knew what you wanted to speak about, and because this has been a very hot topic here in the community, and I can identify clearly your age group, your demographic. There's a concern about fees and any increases that will put stress and burden on you. But I also appreciate what you said. Listening and understanding the proper entities, the proper agencies to voice your concern now that you have been educated and informed about which route to take and which is the best route. It means a lot to the Board of Commissioners that you take the time out of your schedule, come out here as a citizen, and allow your voice to be heard. We appreciate you. More importantly, we appreciate your posture and your approach to this matter. Anything that my office can do to assist you in your quest to find common ground with this issue, we'll be glad to do that. I speak the same thing for the directors that report to the Office of the Chairman, Director Simpkins, in our Stormwater Department, Director Barkley, who is the Chief Tax Assessor in our Tax Assessor's Office. Oftentimes, people don't think of their state representatives, their state senators. We create such a very convenient platform for all of the citizens in Rockdale County. Right. Again, because we have Rockdale Channel 23, we have this public platform. You can't go over and get on a television channel or a platform with the city government or with the local school system, but you can with county government. And oftentimes we get a lot of issues that come to this platform that have very little to do with us. We don't turn people away. We appreciate you. We appreciate your time. I appreciate all of the comments that you said, and I'm so glad that you didn't leave and you came forward to let your voice be heard. Again, I encourage you to reach out to our office if we can be of assistance, and we look forward to hearing more from you in the days ahead.
If you don't mind, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me just say this. I'll be around because there are a lot of things that concerns me. Potholes. I'm tired. I just got a tire busted 2 weeks ago from a pothole. And it's not just what concerns me. I am extremely concerned about other human beings. So I might be running for commissioner one day. God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you so much. And that is certainly the kind of information.
I would like to know where the pothole is, because we can address the pothole. Where was the pothole?
There's one right now that I can tell you right offhand. It's on Salem Road, going towards, what's the name of that road? I can't remember it right now. It's going north or northeast on Salem Road. I just can't remember the name of the road right now. But anyway, it's two potholes side by side, deep. I mean, I'm swerving around them, and a lot of people don't necessarily see it the first time, but...
Honey, I've had several tires that, not necessarily here, but in other places.
Right.
I'm big on potholes, so
right.
If you could get Dr. Moretto's information, I would like to address the pothole.
I will. I've addressed it in Lithonia, I've addressed it in Loganville. Anywhere that I go that I see something, I am a part of this world and a part of this city and this state, so anything that concerns other people concerns me. Yes. So this is not my first time, just my first time here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Barnes, thank you so much. We have a program called See Something, say something.
Yeah, I believe in
And the
that.
gentleman standing up behind you is Director Moretto. He's standing up there so you can see him. Director Moretto, he is our Director of Rockdale Department of Transportation.
Okay.
He's handing his card to you. If you see a pothole in the future, please give him a call.
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you. We look forward to seeing you in the days ahead. All righty. Very good. I think, Commissioner Washington, that is a fine example of the kind of response from citizens that we need in our community, and that's the kind of response that it requires coming from leadership here in county government. I think when we take a moment, slow it down, and educate and inform our citizens about the many and the multiple things that it takes to actually run county government. Potholes, I don't like to use the word typical. We do know that we have a very aggressive Department of Transportation who is busy over the 133 miles of road throughout Rockdale County addressing those issues. However, because we can't see everything and be everywhere, we've implemented a program called See Something, Say Something. We encourage our citizens, take pictures, take videos, call it in, make us aware. Because with inclement weather, moving from one season to the next, the amount of rain that we've seen, we are subject, when roads are having such heavy traffic and the conditions of the roadways change, there may not have been a pothole back in February, but there could possibly be a pothole in the month of May. All of those things in terms of weather and road conditions play a part, as well as the amount of traffic on any particular road. These are man-made materials that build up our surfaces, and this conversation has been really centered around the infrastructure in Rockdale County.
Absolutely.
In order to keep the roads, stormwater, updated pipes, it costs money. So you have to take care of the community. And what this board is doing, we are addressing, particularly with stormwater, an area of the infrastructure that has been neglected for over 4 decades. There's no need of saying that we don't have anything to do with it, because we're in charge, we're here, we are responsible. This is the board that's here, and we're making decisions so that 10 years from now, 20 years from now, whomever's going to be sitting in these positions, whatever citizens that are going to be sitting or living in this county, they have the quality of infrastructure that is needed to move the community forward. And that's in every aspect of the community. I enjoy these kinds of conversations because it gives us an opportunity, again, Commissioner Washington, to educate and inform our public. I'm going to move right on now to board comment and yield to Commissioner Washington.
Well, first, I would like to say happy belated Mother's Day to all of our mothers, grandmothers, and mother figures, aunties that act like mothers. And I had a great Mother's Day, just spending time with my nieces and my grandson and my daughter. So we had a good day, and I want to extend that to everybody else. My only other comment is that our CRETC, the Conyers-Rockdale Economic Development Council, has our new president and CEO. We have changed the name so that it is more befitting of what the former director will be doing. He is now the president and CEO of CRETC. His name is Kevin Hanna. We have extended the offer, and he has accepted. His start date is June 1st. That is a Tuesday, but I'm going to wait until the next week to bring him and formally introduce him. But I just wanted to say a few things about him. He worked for the City of Atlanta's Development Authority. That is now Invest Atlanta. He's worked for the City of Philadelphia's Development Authority, worked for the City of New Orleans Development Authority. Now he has his own development firm. And so he also understands the plight and the, we'll say plight of the small business owner. He is skilled in workforce development, but I think when we were interviewing him, the thing that struck me or stuck out to me the most was when we asked him what he was most proud of in his career. He started out with his community service, that he he serves on community service boards that help reintroduce men into the workforce that may have a criminal record or maybe transitioning from prison. He's on 2 boards, but those were the things that were most important to him. So then as we're moving through the process, we get to call his references. Now, he says the things that meant the most to him were these community service boards, but when you call his references, one of them was a former mayor of Philadelphia. He had state representatives. He had Dana Lemon, who was a gubernatorial appointee, as his references, and they talk about how excellent he is, how he does his job in excellence. Then in conversation, we found out that he has tremendous experience in governmental finance and how we can get things done through all of the tools that we not necessarily using here in Rockdale County. So I'm very, very excited about where we're going to be going with CRETC and the new leadership that we are going to have with CRETC. And I look forward to continuing this train forward. That's all I have this week. And we don't have Dr. Williams here to make me remember something else. So.
Thank you, Commissioner. So I want to, once again, we did last week, Chief Cave is back, and I want to say to Chief Cave and all of our department directors that had a hand in the community-wide cleanup on the 1st of May. And thank all of our citizens who got out early that morning, all of the young people who played a part in helping keep Rockdale clean and beautiful. And I also want to add again, because we do have a littering problem, and our resources are constantly through our community improvement team. We have an active community improvement team that is moving across the county every day, removing mattresses and tires and some of the trash and the debris that people just throw out on the roadway. We have a crew that is working to try to mitigate those problems. But thank you to Chief Cave and all of those in our community who came out with the community improvement team to be a part of the community-wide cleanup we had on May 1st. I know that public relations have a video they want to show in regards to that. Do you have it ready? Okay, all right, very good.
Thank you all for coming out and spending this Saturday morning with us. This is the
countywide community cleanup.
Help the community pick up some trash.
We're going to be going into some different neighborhoods, cleaning the streets.
Rockdale County is the best county. We have a great community, and we want everybody to see that when they see the roads and the streets in Rockdale County.
The community has been a bit dirty lately. It was a bunch of trash.
Cigarette packs, lighters, tires, wheel caps, lots of bottles.
We do have a littering problem.
It was like almost all glass bottles.
There's lots of cans.
Cleaning, a lot of it.
Ooh.
There is an abundance of trash and littering. We don't have the manpower or the personnel to stop every single time we see something that's out there on the road. We're asking people to see something, say something. We do want to hold people accountable.
Keep Rockdale beautiful.
We have a wonderful team to be proud of here in Rockdale County.
Team 3.
It is hot.
The weather is great.
It's nice. It was a good day
It'll be a great reward
for people to come outside and help.
To make Rockdale County clean.
And this was a perfect opportunity.
Beautiful is one of my key initiatives.
My mom signed me up because I really don't be having stuff to do when I'm home.
Making the community a better place is important. It's good to keep the environment clean.
Make Rockdale County just a little bit better.
But we have definitely made a lot of progress, and I'm happy about that.
I do thank all of our employees, all of our leadership team, Chief Cave and everyone who was part of the planning.
So thank you for getting up and giving us just a little bit of your time and energy and commitment to this county.
We'll probably do this again in the fall, somewhere around late September, early October. So thank you again to Public Relations, and thank you to all of those who had a part in making it a successful event. We've already started, Commissioner, we've already started planning for the fall event to happen, and we've taken a lot of different, during our debriefing meeting concerning this past event, we're doing a lot more proactive planning for the one that's going to take place in the fall, and we're looking forward to it. But in the meantime, between this event that just took place on May 1st and the one that we're planning in the fall, we're asking citizens, Dr. Barnes, if you see something, say something. We don't have enough personnel to be on every intersection, every roadway, every street in Rockdale County. And oftentimes, citizens happen to notice things and they see something. Give us a call. Bring it to our attention and make us aware of it, and we will dispatch and deploy someone out so that we can address those issues. On the issue of littering and trash and debris in our community, we take that very seriously. There's a legislation in place right now by this board working in conjunction with the Chief of Staff. Thank you to Commissioner Washington to increase the fine to $1,000. So that is something that we are serious about enforcing here in Rockdale County. When people just trash up the community and throw things out of their car windows or vehicles, and then those folks who deliberately push a mattress off of a pickup truck or throw car tires, and when you do that, you cause property values to decrease and to go down in the community. Everyone has a cell phone now, and a cell phone has a camera on it. You can either take a video or you can snap a picture of a car tag or something. We have a very robust code enforcement division who works in conjunction with the sheriff's office. We need that information. One more time, if you see something, say something. I can't be in every part of this community, neither can the commissioners or the people that we have out in our trucks. You're going to come across potholes and different things that you may see and notice. We want you to bring them to our attention because we may just simply not know. So I just want to say thank you so much to all of those who had a part in our community-wide cleanup. I also want to, because I began to receive calls yesterday, Commissioner Washington, from several citizens who pay attention to not just local news, but national news as well. And yes, there is an issue with the Colonial Pipeline in terms of fuel and gasoline. However, it is going to be restored. We've been in direct communication with our state and federal partners, making us aware that the world is not about to shut down in a moment, so you don't have to run and just take over the local service stations. Make sure your vehicle have fuel in it so you can get to where you need to be, so you don't be stranded on the side of the road. However, the Colonial Pipeline is about to be restored, so they are working very diligently. These hackers, folks who are able to get into the computer system, we've experienced that at least on 2 occasions here in Rockdale. Governments and municipalities throughout the metro area have also received these folks who are able to get into the network and the computer network of the local municipalities and county governments have the ability to shut down operations, and it really creates a major catastrophe in terms of day-to-day function. We know from a safety standpoint, that's the first thing that Colonial Pipeline is doing to mitigate it in a safety way, and the goal is to have the distribution of fuel and gasoline moving back through our communities very, very quickly. So we anticipate that with the next 24 to 36 hours, according to what we're hearing, that it will be restored. There's no need for a panic, and we are monitoring that because we are also impacted here in Rockdale County. All of the county vehicles operate through fuel and gasoline, so that's something I wanted to make sure I said this morning. As I wrap up, Commissioner Washington, I want to draw attention. I don't know whether he wants to say anything or not, but we always appreciate when our citizens come out to be a part of what's happening in our community, and particularly when they want to come out and pay attention to what's happening with local government. I noticed that we have Mr. John Allen and his son here this morning. Mr. Allen, would you like to have anything to say? It's up to you. We certainly do appreciate you and your son coming out and paying attention to what's happening here in your community.
Good morning, Mr. Commissioner. Yeah, we just had some time today, and I figured it'd be a good opportunity to bring my son out and see how government works, make him more proactive and understand how things go.
Oh,
So,
that's
yeah.
great.
Well, we certainly appreciate, exposure is the starting point of education. When you expose people to different things, they become naturally educated through the experience of being there. And I really commend you for exposing your son to this meeting this morning and bringing him out so that he would be made aware, and now he's educated a little bit more about the civic and the political process. Thank you so much, and if we can be of any assistance, let us know.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Director Sanders, you have some information you'd like to share with us this morning as well.
I think
Good morning.
Be exposed to
Good morning.
I'm excited to be here today to talk to you about a brand new program for the Rockdale residents. So we are getting ready to start our first inaugural Government Academy. If you remember, this was slated to start last year, and it was delayed due to the pandemic. So we are ready, we're prepared, the department heads are excited, and we're moving forward. So what is the Citizens Government Academy? It is a weekly class designed for Rockdale residents to learn about their local government through firsthand exposure to the wide range of government functions, services, activities, and issues. The goal is to provide participants with an in-depth overview of local government services, functions, and activities centered around the Board of Commissioners' 5 focus areas of commitment to the residents of Rockdale County. Those areas are infrastructure and transportation, economic development, quality of life, education, and social investment. Participants will learn and have interactive presentations and information. Those will come directly from department representatives, including Legislative Affairs, General Services, the Board of Assessors, Finance, SPLOST, Water Resources, Stormwater, Transportation, the Economic Development Task Force, Planning and Development, Talent Management, Parks and Recreation, Senior Services, Fire Rescue, EMA, Animal Services, and Court Services. The Academy is limited to 20 participants and open to Rockdale residents over the age of 18 years old. The deadline to apply is June 18th. The program does require a commitment of 9 evening classes and 1 evening for graduation. Applicants must commit to attending all sessions. They must also attend 1 Board of Commissioners public meeting of their choice as a requirement to graduate. The meeting days and times are Thursday nights from August 12th to October 14th, with 1 week off during the school system's fall break, and graduation will be October 19th. The full packet of information and applications will be available on the county website tomorrow morning. So what we hope to get out of this is just a little bit of what Director Barkley, he's going to have a presentation as piece of this. So for the community to learn about the services that we offer. I think it's exciting and something we've never done, and we hope to get more out of it with continued relationships with residents and hopefully some volunteer opportunities, and there's boards that they can serve on and different types of things like that. So Public Relations has created a wonderful video. If they could play that for us.
Okay.
Understand that it starts with us, and we need to take action in our backyards first.
Well, let me just say, Commissioner Washington,
I'm
we
excited.
are super excited about this. When I think about what Dr. Barnes said this morning, and I hear from Mr. Allen and other citizens throughout the community, we've decided, and as she stated, Director Sanders mentioned that this was slated to happen, to kick off last year, but due to COVID, we were unable to kick it off. This will give our local citizens, those who are interested, an opportunity to learn and have a bird's eye view in terms of what really happens in local government here in Rockdale County. It will give them a better opportunity to understand how the county functions, how it operates, where does the money come from exactly to take care of the needs inside of the community. When you talk about that word exposure, this will expose local citizens, and I really do appreciate the intimacy of 20 persons per year, because first of all, we really want to make sure that everyone who participates and enrolls in this program has an opportunity to absorb all of the information, and the facilitators will be various department heads, various people throughout local government to teach, inform, to educate, and bring information and awareness to those citizens who have enrolled in our Citizens Government Academy. This is a big deal for Rockdale County because oftentimes people are communicating about things they just don't know about, or they simply don't understand. This will remove the gray area. If you're concerned about what's happening in the clerk's office, if you're concerned about what's going on in the sheriff's office, code enforcement, parks and recreation, stormwater, the tax assessor, planning and development, every department in county government, we will give you this opportunity. So I encourage those. I really appreciate you posting the deadline to register. I think it was June 18th.
Yes.
June 18th. Those 20 slots will probably go really fast, and I believe between today and tomorrow, now that you release this video, those 20 slots will be filled up very quickly. But don't be discouraged. If you're unable to get into this segment, get ready for the next year because we're going to move forward. I think we'll have a lot of ambassadors and people who would have participated and graduated from this program to be able to serve, to talk about the impact of the information. Power is knowledge. Commissioner Washington, I am really excited about this initiative because it's going to remove, there's a lot of folk, I think we call it keyboard courage. They get behind either Facebook or social media and they pontificate and they talk about this, that, and the other. But it's easy to talk about what move or what play the ball player should have made on the field when you're not on the field, when you're sitting up in the bleachers. So this is going to give folks a real opportunity to be in the game, to have an educated, informed, exposed opportunity of understanding here in Rockdale County how the government works in our community. And I really appreciate the starting age of 18 and older, because for some of the younger people in our community over the last 22 months who've taken more of an interest in civic government and politics, it gives them an opportunity to enroll, and for other citizens as well to be informed about what's happening here in Rockdale County. The Citizens Government Academy is going to be a big plus. I'm looking forward to our first graduating class completing. Director Sanders, any additional comments on that presentation you'd like to add?
Just that for contact information, the phone number is 770-278-7549, and we also have an email for the Academy, cga@rockdalecountyga.gov.
Wonderful. Give that number slow one more time, please.
770-278-7549.
Outstanding. Commissioner Washington, any comments on the Citizens Government Academy?
I am excited. I've forgotten about the fact that we were supposed to start this, but I think I was excited. Anytime that you have the opportunity to educate citizens and they can see firsthand all of the work that comes into operation of this. We don't understand how just how expensive things are. You don't understand it costs $1 million to get a fire truck until you have to buy a fire truck. And so just this opportunity to, like you say, expose people to the inner workings of government, and I think that's going to be a great plus for the community. So,
Director Sanders, thank you and your team for leading this effort and putting this program together. She and I talked about this doing a robust meeting a couple of years ago and how we would structure this program. And after sharing the vision and planting the seed, she and her team and her staff really took the ball and they ran all the way across the field with it. COVID held us back for a year, and now we're coming out of that and we're excited about the kickoff of the brand new Citizens Government Academy. Director Rutledge, is there any need for executive session?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Well, with that being said, Commissioner Washington, thank you so much. All of our visitors and all of our citizens and department directors, thank you for coming out this morning. This meeting is adjourned.
Thought we were going to make it.